Today is a live about catnip. I'm going to talk about catnip. I know it's surprising, right? We always think of it's only for cats, but it's not. It's also for humans as well. So I'm going to talk about adding this to your own home herbal apothecary, and also some information about the Grow Your Apothecary monthly plant lessons that are starting this Sunday. So the first one kicks off this Sunday, and then we also have a bonus lesson coming up also this month too in September. So I'll be talking about those things today. So catnip, here it is. I have just the blossoms in this jar right now. So this is my labels are always like, what is it? Where did I harvest it, or where did I get it? Did I dehydrate it in my dehydrator, or did I air dry it? And then the year that I also harvested it. So this information is really important to me, of course, what this plant is, or what's in here, what's in here. And where I got it is helpful too, because that can kind of spark my memory of like, okay, I took this one from the yard in 2022. Okay, I remember that. And sometimes it's helpful for me to know if this was harvested somewhere else, because I kind of want to track, like, was that herb, did it taste different because it was grown in a more lush soil, or it was grown in more sandy soil that didn't get as much water? Like, I really love to try different herbs, because plants, when they grow in different kinds of environments, they do have differences about them. The research shows this. Even the look about them can be different, and I'm just really curious about that, and I kind of keep track of it. What else? Oh, I also like to know, like, is there a difference between dehydrating something in a dehydrator versus air drying it? So I'm also kind of tracking that. And so far, I haven't noticed too much, except that sometimes if there's some herbs that I have that look a little on the brown side and it says dehydrator, I just know that I dehydrated it a little too harshly. Like, I turned up the temperature a little bit too much, or it stayed in there too long. So, all these things are giving me little clues as to why the plant looks like it does, and things like that. And also, these are only the blossoms of this herb. I usually harvest the leaves, the blossoms of catnip, the aerial parts. But for this time, I just took the flowers for one, because I didn't want those flowers to persist on the plant and then make more seeds, because I have a lot of catnip that's just seeding everywhere in this new property that we've been at for a year. And the catnip was everywhere. And I actually have a couple bushes of catnip. It's just so prolific here. So I took off the blossoms to prevent more seeds, even though I have so many blossoms right now. And so I dried them and kept them. And so, yeah, I like the blossoms actually in teas and vegetable glycerin tinctures of catnip. I think it's tastier than just the leaves. Okay. And let's see, what else can I tell you? Oh, the year is good to know, because most herbs can last many years dried in an airtight container. There are some that only last a year. There's some that can last several years, but having the year that I harvested it is just helpful for me as I try to determine if the vitality of the herb has been preserved. And that's what we're trying to do when we dehydrate herbs, is preserve the vitality and all the plant constituents of the herb, kind of like stop it in motion, right? And we don't want it to break down anymore. So there's sometimes when I pick up a jar, I look at it, I look to make sure there's no mold or moisture that has happened in there. If a little extra moisture got trapped, I will take the lid off and smell it. Does it smell potent? Does it smell like it should? And then also, I look at the year and say, okay, this is one that is fairly new. It's going to, be good. So I'm just kind of evaluating it as I pick it up and look at it on my shelf. So there's just lots of things that you're just always quickly scanning with your own home herbal apothecary to make sure everything's the way it should be. And the taste is another way to determine if it's still good. So when I make, an herbal remedy, a tea or something from this, I want to make sure that it also tastes the way it needs to as well. So involve all your senses, and just with this little tiny label is gathering a lot of information for me, just so I know that this herb is still good. And I have a lot of herbs on the shelves. I'm looking at them right now. And I always think, I'm going to remember what this herb is. I'm going to remember where I harvested it. I'm going to remember what year I had it. But then, over time, as I collect them, I sometimes forget. So over time, you will be able to pick them up. And, if this had no label on it, I would know what it is. I could tell that it's fairly new and so on. So catnip tea is really helpful for relaxing. It's a nervine. That's the herbal. Hold on a second. So herbal action. There we go. It's the herbal action. The nervine term is an herbal action. So it helps to calm the nervous system. Helps to relieve anxiety and relieve nervousness, relieve irritability. And also, it's really helpful for sleep, is what I found. So I have a vegetable glycerin tincture sitting on my bedside table right now, so that if I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm just kind of laying there and my mind starts to go over my to-do list, I can just take some in the dark. I don't have to see how much I'm taking. I just get a dropper full, and it helps to relax. And so tincture and herbs. And if you look at other tea blends that are at stores and stuff that's, say something about relaxing or nighttime, you could look and see, I wonder if they have catnip in this one. So that's really helpful to know. I don't consider catnip to be like super tasty. It is in the mint family, but it doesn't have like a strong menthol type quality to it. So I do like to add it to other herbs. As a vegetable glycerin tincture, and Herb Farm has one. And in fact, I purchased one from Herb Farm and it was so delicious. And I thought, I wonder what was so different about that one than the tincture I made. And I looked and it said flowering tops on the label. So that's when I decided I need to add flowering tops, not just the leaves. But with the glycerin, it adds a bit of sweetness because glycerin is sweet. And then the flowering tops with it, I made my own tincture that way. It's really, really good. So I would suggest learning a little bit about catnip. Super easy to grow, and like the mints are. And the pollinators absolutely love the flowers. In fact, I really want to cut down my catnip bush a bit because it's just like sprawling all over the place. And I want to prune it up, but there's so many pollinators buzzing around that I can't come bring it to myself to take them off. And I know they're making more seeds in my yards. I'm just going to have to bowl some of their babies later on. But it's very helpful. And what else can I tell you about catnip? Oh, it's also very helpful for it can be very soothing to the gastrointestinal system. It actually helps to increase peristalsis, which is basically this action of the intestinal system. It kind of moves along, helps push things through. And sometimes that gets a little sluggish and doesn't move too much, but catnip helps to move things along and in a very soothing, gentle way is what I found. So catnip is lovely. Let's see here. And then, oh yes, Grow Your Apothecary monthly plant lessons. This is a type of lesson that I would give in the monthly plant lessons. We're doing one herb every full moon. The Sunday before the full moon, that's when I'll give another live lesson in Zoom for people who are registered for that. And it's on a monthly subscription. The full price is $44 a month. There's also sliding scale options too for people who need those. So Grow Your Apothecary monthly plant lessons. If you check out my website, you'll find it there. And also it's in the comments and in the header of Facebook and in YouTube. and everything, all the places I'm live right now. So monthly plant lessons, we start this Sunday. So it's the Sunday before the full moon, September 4th, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time is when I go live. It's about a 45-minute lesson. And I'm talking about anything about how to grow the herb, use the herb, grow your apothecary in terms of what can you add to your own home herbal apothecary. You grow your knowledge about the herbs, how they look, how you could harvest them, where they may be wildcrafted available, if there's some similar spots in your area that match the description of the particular herb and how it likes to grow. And then also just learning these herbs in general, even if you don't grow them or harvest them or make them yourself, at least you'll gather that knowledge about when you look at herbal remedy lists, you'll be able to understand what the herbs are in there. I also want people to grow their own inner green witch, their herbal healer, their own inner plant priestess. And one way you need to do when you're, connecting with that inner archetype is to learn the herbs. And so you'll be learning 13 in one calendar year, because there's 13 full moons in one calendar year, but you pay monthly. And there'll be surprise bonus things happening, just like this month in September. On Sunday, September 25th, also doing what I'm calling a secret meeting. It's a secret meeting because it is the dark moon, the second and the last dark moon on a Sunday in 2022. So it's all about potions. So if you go to the Grow Your Apothecary information page, you'll find more information about what that secret meeting is all about. But I promise you that one's going to be fun. You actually don't have to have any herbal knowledge at all to be able to do this particular fun secret meeting class about potions. I guarantee you it will be fun. It will be exciting. You'll be able to bring out your inner child. I'm sure many of you played with herbs and nature when you were younger, plants outside, mixed up your own soups and such. And that's got the same feel as the secret meeting too. So that's happening September 25th live, and all the replays are available to people who are registered. What I do is about 24 to 48 hours after the live lesson, then I send you a link in your email so that you can watch the replay of it. And people who are registered in September, before the secret meeting takes place, will have access to that. So $44 a month, sliding scale options available as well. And so in September, we'll start the Grow Your Apothecary, and you'll get a bonus lesson as well. After each live lesson, I will open it up for some Q&A time and for people to share, their experience with the herb. I'm also going to start out every lesson with a plant attunement, which is basically a way for us to get in connection and get into alignment with the herb that we're starting with. And also, to remember that we are in reciprocity with the plants. It's not about just what can the plants give us, but we're also trying to attune into them like a relationship. How can we do that? Will we need to offer blessings? We can do visualizations to help us get centered and in right frame of mind to learn these herbs, rather than just consuming analytical information. Will involve all aspects of ourselves, from the creative to the meditative, and put that all in the 45-minute lesson. So you'll be learning tips about growing herbs, and specifically about the one we start with, the one we're doing for that month, for that full moon. And this in September, the first one is going to be about wild black cherry. So I'll be able to share with you my experience with it and building the relationship with it, as well as also just the information about ways to use it or to find it and stuff like that. So start September 4th. We're just coming up, it's in 4 days we start. So please join us for the first one in September here, and I'll post the link for you soon. All right, take care and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.